Hello there and welcome. We're back with another video where we are testing the editor difficulties to try and find a sweet spot where, well, we get the challenge that we are after. In this video, I've tested three settings: the ultra lightweight, the 0.5% plus a small research boost, and the 1.5% plus a small research boost. I tested these three things individually to see how they stack up, and as a general rule of thumb, try and avoid combining them. But yeah, we're going to take a look at these three, see if they do spice up the game a little bit to make it more interesting for those of us who have probably played this more than we should. But let's just jump into it with ultra lightweight. So immediately with ultra lightweight, we end up third. I have simulated all the seasons, so I haven't actually try-harded anything like that, but I have been doing kind of meta-ish development. I've been doing the same kind of development for all three saves. So basic development is going to be very, very similar, if not outright identical. But we did get a very interesting fight here. There is 4 teams in this. McLaren beat Red Bull. Verstappen is the champion, of course. But other than that, simulating wise, it was kind of interesting to watch. In terms of the cars here, we are basically the third/fourth best team in terms of the car. And we were actually unable here to overtake Red Bull. We only beat them in tire preservation. And I believe it's very similar here with McLaren. We slightly beat them out in top speed, but it's so low that it doesn't really count. And so as you can imagine here, by keeping the cars at 0 kilograms, the AI has actually become quite a lot more competitive. Ferrari here, kind of the same deal. We do beat them in top speed a little bit more than McLaren. But these three top teams that were ahead of us at the start of the season are still ahead of us, although it is only slightly for some. And depending on our research, we might very well end up being ahead of them again. Now, on this save, I don't actually have a research boost, so we're actually not going to take too much of a look at that. But generally, as you can see, with just ultra lightweight, which forces the AI to add 0 kilograms to the car, basically removing durability from the game, the AI becomes a lot more competitive. And honestly, this is probably the best way for you to kind of mess around with the difficulty. And what I mean by this is because the AI is locked at 0 kilograms, if you say make your car 5 kilograms, 10 kilograms, 15, 20, you get the idea. You can incrementally make your car heavier in order to keep the AI competitive for longer. But do keep in mind that this isn't really too sustainable, but I still probably recommend ultra lightweight as my number one. Try it out first before you start messing with any of the other difficulty settings. It is really, really nice. And again, I can't praise it enough. I've probably done this in a lot of other videos. I think ultra lightweight is a good starting point to compare from. Now, in terms of how we look against the rest of the grid, we'll take a look at that right now in the editor. Now, looking at the data here in the editor, it kind of just solidifies what I just said. Ferrari, McLaren, and Red Bull are ahead of us still by 3 to 5%. Mercedes is right behind us, and generally the field is fairly close. It's just 12% from Stig Sauber, with, well, not being able to improve the ranking compared to the start of the season. But generally the grid is pretty close there, and you can imagine that the back markers here, from say 6th to 10th, are kind of having the same battle as 5th to 1st have. So there's kind of 2 battles going on track with this, and again, it is fairly competitive. Now, the AI stopped developing around, as you can see, USA, basically Coda, and because of that, they don't really do too much research. For this save, I didn't actually have any research boosts on, so we might as well take also a quick look later on and see how no research compares to the research boosts I've added to the other saves. But generally here, ultra lightweight does definitely seem to be a competitive way to play the game. And again, it is very easy to apply. Just go into your settings, game, and click on ultra lightweight parts here. And again, this is the only thing that I've tested here on this save. Next up, we're going to take a look at a different one. In this next save, I gave the AI a 0.5% boost. That is all I put in. They also do have a research boost that is small. And as you can see, we already see a very different scenario here with us down in 4th and Red Bull kind of dominating here. There's no way around that. In terms of car performance here, if we take a look at the analysis, we can see that we are pretty far down the grid. We're basically going to be a back marker starting next season. There's just no way around that. And in terms of how we compare to the Red Bull here, they have a much bigger advantage compared to what we saw last time, and that is even with still 11 kilograms on the car. So the 0.5% boost is far stronger than the ultra lightweight boost is. And I, in my, well, what's it called? Pride? The negative version of that? Basically, I thought initially that the plan here for the editor was to combine lightweight or ultra lightweight with one of the stat boosts, but the stat boost here, even the lowest level, is still extremely strong in making the AI very, very quick to develop. So do keep that in mind. This is just 0.5% stat boost. Nothing else has been added to the AI for this one. And if you take a look at McLaren here, very similar stuff. They just have outdeveloped us insanely quickly. And if we take a look at the editor, we are probably not going to like what we're going to see. And here we are. This is the performance chart for the 0.5 save. As you can see over here, 0.5% stat boost, small research boost, and that alone was enough for the AI to completely outplay us here. That's the best way I can put it. We are now the slowest team on track. And McLaren, Visa, Red Bull, Ferrari, Haas, you get the idea here. All of them have outdeveloped us drastically. We're now 14% behind. With ultra lightweight, it was about 12% from top to bottom. And this one, it is actually kind of similar, but we're now at the bottom with 15% behind. And that is generally where Stake should have been. You also see something a little bit interesting here with Stake having outdeveloped both Williams and Alpine. So there is something interesting going on here, but already, as I mentioned, a 0.5% boost is still extremely strong. So do keep that in mind when you set up your difficulty. Next up, we are going to take a quick look at 1.5% to just compare the graph here. As you can imagine, it is slightly stronger before we go into the research aspect. Here we are with my third test run. As you can see, we gave the AI a large research boost, a stat boost of plus 1.5%. And if we take a look at the performance graph for this one, it's actually incredibly similar to the 0.5% one, but the gap is slightly bigger. Instead of 15% behind, we're close to 18. So it's just a 3% difference in terms of AI performance, but as you can imagine, our performance is still lacking. Basically, the stat boosts are going to be a very, very powerful way to boost the AI. And I can definitely recommend, say, run the 0.5% one for half a year. If, say, the AI has fallen really, really far behind you and you want to kind of help boost them back up into relevancy, into being a bit more competitive, then yeah, run the 0.5 stat boost until, say, they overtake you. Then you can just go back into your settings here and just disable it if you see fit. So basically, the stat boost is a great way if you have a say where the fun kind of has fizzled out because the AI is no longer competitive. Run the stat boost until they catch you, then put on the ultra lightweight, and suddenly you're going to have a fight again. For at least this couple of seasons, I'd say. But yeah, in terms of the stat boosts here, they do seem to make the game really, really difficult in terms of performance of your car versus the AIs. And even at just a 0.5% stat boost, it's going to see them massively overtake you over the course of the season. Now, the thing here also is that these stat boosts do kind of stack with the sign times. So if you do these two, the AI is going to develop even quicker. So do keep that in mind. I am kind of tempted to try and assign times only those the AI and see if that kind of puts them in a better spot. Say maybe try this. But I have a lot of things here that I do want to test, and I do want to figure out if I can find a good research setting that matches with ultra lightweight parts, because I think that is the best way for the majority of people who are wanting a higher difficulty setting in this game to get that desire fulfilled. This editor is really, really great. Don't get me wrong, but the difficult for the most parts do seem to be tuned on the difficult side, and I'm not super against it, but keep that in mind when you do set up your custom difficulty here, that even just 0.5% can be too much. I've also been told since I use Firefox that it might interfere a little bit with the editor, so I don't know if that is the case. I don't believe so, but just be warned. Also, of course, in order to increase difficulty, you can always use the frozen mentality, because again, as the player, you will generally have a mentality advantage. And honestly, ultra lightweight here, plus these two, can actually fill, I think, the difficulty wish, so to speak, of a lot of the player base. So that is actually huge. Now, I'm going to quickly simulate the rest of the season, and we'll take a quick look at the research for these 3 saves. And I'm really curious to see if we'll be seeing any teams flying up ahead. For the two saves where I have research equipped, which is the 0.5 stat boost and 1.5, I made sure that we got the same regulation so that it doesn't actually interfere with, the results, if you will. So I'm just going to quickly get that sorted, and then we'll take a look at it. When it comes to the research, we're actually seeing something fairly interesting here, and that is that while we've gone down, mainly due to the fact that we've had to, the weight has come back, we can see that the AI all are 80 or above here. This is with a 20 kilogram car too. That's the scary part. This is also on the moderate, large research boost. So as you can see, it's not really good for the player in this scenario. And if we take a quick look here at actually where we find ourselves in terms of the car analysis here compared to, say, Red Bull, they still have 20 kilograms on the car, and it's getting pretty close here, or at least very close to being maxed out. So 1.5% plus moderate research boost is probably not the key here. And honestly, I think the research just needs to be its own video, because the stat boost here from the other cars are just causing a lot of problems. And also, for some reason, my game is lagging on that screen right now, so apologies that I can't show you it. But I think I'll do research as its own time sometime later. For now, though, it does seem that the 0.5% boost is very, very strong. I would recommend staying with UltraLightWeight and using the weight of your car to kind of adjust difficulty. Maybe I'll take a look into that in the future, try and adjust that a little bit. But as you can see, with UltraLightWeight starting with Aston, I was not able to take full control of the AI. And honestly, if you do research, you are going to overtake them in the second season, I believe. But again, you can adjust the difficulty there with the weight. But yeah, I have work in the future. I think, again, the research just need to take a little bit of a close look at, because similar to UltraLightWeight, it might be an idea to combine UltraLightWeight with some sort of research, keep the AI even better competitive. But UltraLightWeight plus stat boost, or stat boost plus UltraLightWeight, is probably not the way to go. So there you have it. My first test with the new difficulty settings. They're still really hard, and I do enjoy that, but they're probably a little bit on the harder side. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this answers some of your questions regarding difficulty. And if you want to see more in the future, please like, subscribe, and I shall see you next time. Bye bye.